Hey everybody! I'm here today to show you and tell you how to get used to going to bed later. These will be beginner instructions, and I'll be going over 6 simple tips and pieces of advice that will allow you to get used to and more accustomed to going to bed later. Now, I don't necessarily recommend going to bed later, but sometimes you need to, okay? I myself have 4 young kids, so if I want to get stuff done, I got to go to bed later. It's as simple as that. You know, they go to bed at a certain time, and there's very limited hours. If I was to go to bed early, I wouldn't get anything done. So I got to go to bed later. And it's a matter of training yourself. I don't recommend it necessarily, and I don't do it every single night. But in general, when I have stuff to do, I can go to bed later, and I can be perfectly fine. As long as you don't do it every single night, okay? So use it as you feel fit, okay? But it's not something I recommend, like you just try going to bed later for fun all the time. No, use it if you need to, okay? So these are 6 things. Let's go through these, and I'm going to go through these rather quickly. Number 1, nap if you can, even if it's just a short nap. If you have a spare 15 minutes, set your alarm and take a nap. If you have a spare 10 minutes, set your alarm and take a nap. Here's why. By napping for 10 minutes, you're probably going to allow yourself to stay up an hour later and feel great within that hour of staying up later. So whatever you nap for, you're going to feel much better for a much longer period of time, staying up later. Your naps, the time that you sleep during your naps is valued at more in the nighttime with regards to staying awake. Now, does that mean that the sleep is equal? No. 10 minutes of napping time is just 10 minutes of napping time. Doesn't mean it's worth an hour of sleep, but you can stay up that extra hour, if you need to, by napping for 10, 15, 20 minutes. So in my opinion, it's worth it. And you nap for 20 minutes, that's only 20 minutes that you used up, but you get a full hour of unblocked time, right? So it's good for chunking off your time, okay? Number 2 is to slowly, I have my notes over here and I'm trying to read them, but my writing is very, very messy. So number 2 is to stay busy in the late hours of the night. So you don't want to just stand there watching TV. If you just sit there watching TV, you're not going to be busy. You're probably going to fall asleep. Stay busy in the late hours of the night. Maybe you want to do a workout at night. Maybe you want to do work at night. Maybe you want to do your phone calls or your meetings at night. I mean, do whatever you need to stay busy in the late hours of the night. Because if you just sit on the couch, play video games, watching TV, you're probably going to fall asleep, okay? Very simple. Number 3 is to keep the lights on. If the lights are off, you're definitely going to fall asleep if you're tired. If the lights are on, you stand a better chance at staying awake. That's because your brain reacts differently to dark environments and light and bright environments. So keep it bright, and that will allow you to, by keeping the lights on, you're going to keep it bright. That will actually allow you to have a better chance of staying up later, okay? Number 4 is to eat a bit later. When you eat, you gather energy from the food that you eat. So I'm not saying have a late night snack. That's not what I'm saying, but let's say you eat dinner at 5 o'clock, maybe eat dinner at 6 or 7 o'clock. That food will sort of keep you awake for longer because your body's going to be burning through that food and giving you energy, okay? A lot of people argue this isn't true, and it might not be true for everyone, but for me, that's true. The later that I eat, the more energy I have at night, for myself. That's just how my body works. So I'm just giving you that piece of advice based on myself, okay? Number 5 is to avoid stress as much as possible. You want to not stress out. Stress makes you tired. If you want to stay up late at night, push your bedtime a bit, then stressing yourself out, worst thing that you can do. So avoid stress as much as possible and avoid late night stress as much as possible, okay? It will allow you, by being happy and not stressed and sort of relaxed, it will allow you to stay up later. Sometimes stress makes you worked up, and that will keep you awake because you're worked up, but that's not necessarily the stress I'm talking about. If your stress makes you worked up, it's probably because it's like a positive energy kind of stress. If you're stressed out because you're worried about something, probably going to fall asleep. Very simple. And even if you're not falling asleep, you're staying up later, you're going to be extremely tired because, you're stressing yourself out. So even if you're staying awake because you're stressed out and you're anxious or whatever, you're going to be extremely tired when you're awake. Not a good way to stay awake, okay? Lastly but not leastly, number 6. Lastly but not leastly, number 6ly, okay? Doesn't even make sense, but we're going to go with number 6. Slowly but surely increase your bedtime. Sort of like pace yourself. If you just try and go from like an 8 o'clock bedtime to like a 12 o'clock bedtime, midnight bedtime, it's not going to work. And I mean, I don't know who goes to bed at 8 o'clock other than my kids. They go to bed earlier than that. Their bedtime is like 7 o'clock, 7:15 at the time of filming this video. The babies go to bed at 7 and the older 2 go to bed at 7:15. But whatever your bedtime is, if you try and push it too much, it's not going to work. You're going to have detrimental effects. You're going to be extremely tired the next day, and then the next night you're going to just want to fall asleep super early, right? So slowly but surely pace yourself and increase your bedtime, like 15 minutes every couple days. Try that out. And that's it. That is how to get used to going to bed later, get used to later bedtime, fall asleep at a later time, whatever you want to call it. Beginner instructions with 6 simple tips and things that you can do. If you like this video tutorial, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment, and of course be sure to subscribe for more great videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.